Hello everyone, and thanks for attending today's webcast, Compuware Test Drive, Take Topaz for a Spin. Before we begin, we'd like to cover a few housekeeping items. For an optimal viewing experience, please ensure that you have checked system requirements along with bandwidth considerations. Webinars are bandwidth intensive, so closing any unnecessary browser tabs will help conserve your bandwidth. At the bottom of your screen, there are multiple application widgets you can use. All the widgets are resizable and movable, so feel free to move them around to get the most out of your console space. You can expand your slide area or maximize it to full screen by clicking on the arrows in the top right corner of the slide area. Today's presentation consists of slides and a video. This webcast is using MediaStream for viewing. Upon rendering the video, your media player controller will launch, at which time you will have the ability to customize your view settings. Please note, you may need to minimize the media player once the screen share has ended to resume viewing the slide presentation in the screen viewer. If you have any technical difficulties, please click on the help link located via the question mark widget at the bottom left of your screen, where you'll find details about system requirements and frequently asked questions. If you experience a blank screen during the webcast, please try refreshing your browser or pressing F5. If you have any questions during the webcast, you can submit them through the Q&A widget. We will try to answer these during the webcast, but if a more complete answer is needed or if we run out of time, we will reach out directly. Also, notice the Learn More widget. Here, we've added links to information overviewing the Topaz Development and Testing Suite, an analyst blog on the importance of Topaz for unit testing and DevOps, as well as a copy of today's slide presentation. Your feedback is very important to us. We encourage everyone to fill out the survey before the end of today's presentation, and by doing so, you will automatically be entered to win a $50 American Express gift card. We are extremely pleased to have as our speakers today Compuware Account Consultant Jennifer Hall and Technical Sales Enablement Brian Westerholt, assisting with questions. So make sure to submit those questions via the Q&A widget. With that, now I'd like to welcome and hand things over to Jennifer.
Thanks, Janet. Brian and I are here to introduce Topaz Test Drive. It's a virtual instance of Topaz that requires no setup on your part. The session will be focused on Topaz Test Drive. What is it? Where is it? How do I use it? And why would I use it? To kick this off properly, let's take a look at our video.
There's no better feeling than being at the wheel. What are you waiting for? Get in. At Compuware, we don't want to just tell you about our solutions. We want you to experience them firsthand. And now you can trial them with Test Drive. Technology is at its best when it is familiar, enables us to accomplish more with less time, and allows you to go places you've never been before. Welcome to your test drive. A simple, elegant, and intuitive toolset provides you with a level of visualization never seen before. Suddenly, complex relationships become clear before your eyes. Seamlessly manage mainframe applications, mainframe and non-mainframe data and operations. One process, one agile culture, using the tools of your choice. Automate your testing process, strengthen your code quality, and keep going fast. Go ahead, take her for a spin.
So Topaz is Compuware's comprehensive suite of mainframe development and testing tools designed to help your developers maintain and innovate with your mainframe investments. Regardless of your developers' experience levels, your program's complexity, or how the programs may be, The Topaz suite has you covered during your software's CI/CD, continuous integration, and continuous delivery lifecycle. Topaz Test Drive is a new interactive way of experiencing hands-on exposure to a virtual instance of the Topaz products. By using your browser, you gain the ability to experience the value of Compuware solutions without having to do any project planning. You don't need to set up any additional hardware. There are no MIPS usage and requires no installations or configurations on your systems, which means that you're not using up any of your additional resources. The Topaz Test Drive provides a guided experience of 6 scripts that covers the following. Topaz Workbench, it's a mainframe Eclipse-based IDE, an integrated development environment, that provides the essentials for your developers to code, test, and debug in a modern interface with your Compuware toolset. Then we have Topaz for Program Analysis, which provides insight to your program both statically and dynamically. The static analysis provides a visual summary and data flow of your program. The dynamic analysis provides a graphical depiction of how your application executes during runtime using Runtime Visualizer, which is my absolute favorite piece. It's very helpful in cleaning up code and seeing everything that is being called in your program. I call it the module map, and again, it's my favorite part of Topaz. And then we have Topaz for Enterprise Data, in short, TED. It's a single interface to graphically visualize data relationships and provides sophisticated editing capabilities for your mainframe and non-mainframe data. With TED, you can also exercise cross-platform test data privacy to assure that your sensitive data is protected internally. Next is Topaz for Total Tests, which automates the process of creating unit tests, creating program and data stubs, and enables your engineers to run Java-like unit tests. And then we have ISPW, which enables developers to code, test, and deploy mainframe code quickly and safely without worry of overlaying code from another developer. The test drive is set up to walk you through 6 areas and 6 associated scripts for the interactive test drive experience. So with these scripts, you're going to want to save or print them before you start your test drive, as you'll follow the directions for the interactive experience. To get started using Topaz Test Drive, you should contact your AC, your account consultant, to set you up. You'll need to provide a list of names and email addresses who will need IDs and passwords. Everyone will have their own ID and password. You'll receive an email that contains your username, the password, and the link to access Topaz Test Drive from your Compuware account consultant. So once you get the email, you're going to click on the link that's provided, and you'll see that on the right-hand side. It's going to take you to the welcome page, where you'll see the 6 areas and the 6 associated scripts that will walk you through the interactive experience for the different Topaz products and how they interact with our core Compuware products: FileAid, ABAND-Aid, Expediter, iStrobe, and ISPW. So now you have the email, you have all the information to log in. You're going to log in, you're going to see the desktop, it's simple and clean, and then you just open Topaz Workbench by double-clicking that orange icon. Now, just a little reminder, some of these screenshots may be hard to read, so please remember that the presentation slides are over on the left, or it's over on the right, under the section called Learn More. Topaz Workbench will then open up once you click the orange icon. Topaz Workbench opens up. This is what it looks like. As you notice, it's powered by Eclipse. And this is your first tutorial called Introduction to Eclipse. The first script will walk you through on how to use Topaz Workbench, which is, again, our IDE, Integrated Development Environment. By default, the Host Explorer perspective is shown. The rest of the script will walk you through on how to close all perspectives, choose new ones, create custom perspectives. The script also teaches you how to access the Compuware menu, as you'll see in the next slide. So these are all of the Compuware perspectives and features that are available in this particular session. When you install Topaz Workbench at your site, which is provided with your Compuware mainframe core products as an entitlement, yeah, it's free, you own this, you will need to configure your Compuware products appropriately. Now, you may not have all of these, but I hope you will someday, so you better talk to your account team. So at this point, we're going to move on to building an environment with Host Explorer and Jez Explorer, which is in the next tutorial script. So in building our environment, you'll be instructed on how to use Host Explorer to reach our mainframe LPAR. For this particular session, I'm connecting to LPAR called Test Drive, as shown under Host on the left-hand side. From there, it lists the ZOS datasets. The script then directs you to set up a filter for a specific dataset that you'll use to create one of your own, as well as copying a member by dragging and dropping it. And as you can see on the left-hand side at the bottom, I have already allocated my own dataset and dragged a member to it, not by using 3270 green screen, by just using my mouse and clicking. You can see in the Compuware console that's on the bottom right of that screen, you can see all the action that took place. Now, I was tempted to actually do a live demo of this for you, but I can't. Okay, so you need to do this yourself. I want you to go through the scripts line by line. The next step is to review the member that we copied, update the job card to reflect my user ID. I right-clicked, and finally click Submit to submit the JCL. This job is going to copy sample data to my data set. At the bottom right, we receive notice that the job was submitted successfully and the job completed. So now we can see in the console window that the data was copied over to my data set. In addition, you will also have Jez Explorer. The Jez Explorer allows you to view and manage job outputs. It provides similar functionality as SDSF and IOF. You'll be able to see all the jobs submitted, their job ID, the owner, the return code, the description, the job class, position, and status, just like you would in SDSF or IOF. I can also do a filter on STC, TSO user, and batch. I can also choose to select the job and review the output. So at this point, our Topaz Workbench environment is now set up the way that I want it, and we can move forward with the next tutorial. Next tutorial is File and Data Management, which utilizes Topaz for Enterprise Data and FileAid. The FileAid data editor displays the data in table mode by default. However, you can view the data in row mode at the same time, and you can also select display mode and toggle between normal and hex mode. Find and replace is available in this section. Here you can see the options available for it. For this, I'm choosing 25. There's also comparisons that are available. And then you can select your data sets to compare. You can right-click, click on Compare With, and choose each other file using FileIt. In the bottom left screen, the picture, that's your comparison results. You'll see the differences that were up in the top right, and that completes the FileAid data editor. So now we're going to head over to the Topaz Workbench Data Visualizer. The Data Visualizer allows you to see relationships that you've defined between DB2 tables and VCM files. This is similar to FileA for DB2 and FileA RDX functionality, where you can display the relationships between files in the IFPF interface. So in Topaz Workbench, I would select Data Visualizer from the Compuware menu. Then I will supply the information, which is the data set, the DB2 location, the DB2 subsys on the appropriate LPAR. Then you'll be able to see all the relationships defined in the file, and that is the bottom right picture of the slide. The Relationship Visualizer shows application relationships with dashed lines and referential integrity with solid lines. Next is the fourth script, which is code analysis and debugging, utilizing Topaz for program analysis, Expediter, Band-Aid, and iStrobe. Here you will learn about Slick Edit, you'll work in some copybooks, you'll perform a program analysis, as well as having the opportunity to debug with Expediter. You'll also review some add-ins with Band-Aid, and you'll utilize iStrobe. For the fifth script, which is the automated unit testing, it uses Topaz for Total Test. In this particular test drive, you get to generate a program unit test. You'll use the Host Explorer again to modify JCL. You'll use Expediter Debugger to create a debug configuration that runs a program and generates the unit test. Then, after setting up the unit test, you'll get to use the Project Explorer to actually run them and see the results. So again, as much as I want to go through this and do it for you, I can't. It would defeat the purpose of having you do the test drive. Then last but not least, we have our source code management solution called IFPW. In this section and script, you'll change 2 COBOL copybooks and try out the available functions such as creating an assignment, adding and checking out code, using Slick Edit, looking at listings. You'll promote through the different stages of development and QA to finally promoting to production. And you'll also have the ability to do a fallback. So that's it. That's our Compuware Topaz test drive. It's an easy, interactive, cost-free, resource-free experience of Topaz. You just need to contact your Compuware account team to get started for a 2-week test drive. You'll be able to have 20 users testing Topaz Test Drive for 14 days. Over to you.
Great. Thanks, Jennifer. I'll give you a couple seconds there to look over the questions. And at this time, I just want to remind everybody to please take a moment to fill out the very brief survey at the end of the webcast. And as a result, you'll be entered into that $50 American Express gift card. And with that, I am going to hand things over to Jennifer and Brian for questions.
Okay, Brian, the first question and statement is, I see this as a tool for quick training outside of the normal training for Topaz provided by Compuware.
Yes, and I think this actually goes with the other question that was asked, that are we going to have this potentially as a portal? Yes, we are currently working on a learning portal at Compuware that we've named ZIQ. And yes, eventually we will have training modules that will be available through that portal to cover these products in more details and so forth. So yes, it definitely could be used as a quick training tool as well.
Okay. Do I have to install a VMware image to access Test Drive?
No, as you stated at the beginning of the presentation, this is pretty much a self-contained presentation where you sign in through your web browser, and there's nothing to install or configure locally other than making sure you have the ability to access the internet through your browser to get to the test drive.
Okay. And then the next one is, I want to see more advanced features, functions than what is shown during a test drive. Is this possible?
Absolutely. What we can do is you can talk to your account representative, and we can schedule what's called a proof of value, where we would actually then have someone on site, one of the Compuware support technicians, to work with you through Test Drive to show you additional product capabilities. The idea behind the Test Drive itself is that it should be self-driven, that clients can use it without having to have someone from Compuware holding their hand and walking them through it. But if you need to see things above and beyond what are currently covered in Test Drive, then we can definitely do that through the POV.
Okay, and one of my customers just texted me, can I use my own data for the test drive?
As I just said, since it's pretty much a self-contained presentation at this point, we're providing all of the data necessary for use with the programs and the scripts. So I guess the short answer to that question is no, they can't use their own data. We'll provide everything they need for the test drive.
I think we have time for a couple more.
Okay. Next question. Can we compare files in batch mode in FileAid?
That's a good question. I'm not sure 100%. We can get that answer and get back to you. In batch mode through Topaz, yeah, I don't have the answer to that one, Jennifer. We'll have to get back to that person.
Okay, I've made a note. Okay, let me look to see what else. Is in the Host Explorer perspective, to which host is it connected?
That's a good question. The Host Explorer can be connected to many LPARs. I myself have 3 or 4 different LPARs that I can connect to through Host Explorer. It just requires that our communications component, also known as HCI, is installed and running on that LPAR. And I believe you have to have at least one Compuware tool on that LPAR as well. Actually, no, you don't even need to have the mainframe tools. As long as you have HCI installed and running on that LPAR, you can connect to it through the Host Explorer. So that's, as Jennifer was mentioning too, there's the capability to do cross-LPAR functions, like copying data sets from one LPAR to another, basically dragging and dropping it through Host Explorer. So it's a very powerful tool, so you can connect to multiple hosts or LPARs.
I think we have time for maybe one more to squeeze in.
Okay, and then next one in line is there a cost to do a test drive?
There is not, and you don't even need a driver's license.
Okay.
I like that answer, and that's a great way to close out the webcast. This has been great. Thanks, Jennifer. Thanks, Brian. Thank you, everyone, for attending today's webcast. Again, I encourage you to fill out that survey. And for those questions that we were unable to get to because of time limitations, we will definitely be reaching out directly after the webcast to you. So thanks again, everyone, for attending today's webcast. We hope you found it valuable, and we will conclude today's presentation. Have a great day.